I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Good morning, everybody. Hello. Happy Tuesday. I'm closing out a bunch of other crap. You guys, coming up on the show today, crazy plane crash. We're going to be talking about another one. We're talking about that. Also, crazy liberal protests. And Deborah Birx, she can suck it. She and her scarf.
All of it. Every last it. She can suck.
Scarf. Yeah, exactly. And Meghan Markle, she attempts to be relatable again.
Fail.
Yeah.
It's a big fat fail.
All that and so much more coming up on the show today. We got a big show ahead. You guys can reach us on all the things, see us on all the things, chicksontheright.com/links. Also, please click subscribe to this podcast. Please do that. I love that. Department of Retirement Efficiency.
Yes.
Sorry, I have my voice. I'm very froggy. Yes, you can join Bulwark's first 100 days webinar free at knowyourriskradio.com. This is our guy. He's our financial dude. He's so great. You guys will love Zach. It's Thursday, March 20th at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, which I think means that it's 5:30 Central, 6:30
yes.
Eastern. Yes. So
correct.
Please do that. Check it out. knowyourriskradio.com.
That's how you sign up. That's free. Why would you not do that? You should absolutely do it.
My name. Oh, my name is wrong.
Oh, you should fix. Can you fix? Do I need to fix it? I can fix it.
Fix it. Yeah, it should be. I'm sorry. We had a thing yesterday with Sean Spicer, and I have to be.
And we always have to be professional.
We have to be kind of professional, right?
Wait, I'm fixing it.
Thank you. Are you fixing it?
I am. It's being fixified. There it is.
Better. I feel much better now.
Oh, I didn't put the honorable though. Do you want me to put the honorable
you have
in?
To put the honorable, Daisy. You have to.
I mean, what was I thinking?
I know, right? I'm dishonorable.
The honorable.
Right.
The honorable. Why can't I spell that today?
Honorable. There you go.
Now all is right in the world.
All is well. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
That's right. If you didn't catch Sean Spicer's show, you should yesterday. You should. I mean, and on all the days, but like particularly yesterday because we were on it.
Yeah, every time we talk to him, it's about a 45-minute deal when we talk to him. So settle in, get a cup of coffee, and you can go and check it out.
Yeah, he's always fun.
Yeah.
Before we get to news, point of personal privilege, if I may, which really has nothing to do with me, but I saw this headline on the Daily Mail. I did not get into the weeds and like read every word of the associated article, but the headline was just enough to make my brain hurt. So you remember how like there was all the crazy challenges on TikTok, like the Tide challenge, and like all these kids were doing stupid shit, and like a lot of them were dying because of it.
What are they doing now? My God.
I think this was in Brazil. Just can't even believe this is real, and it's not funny. So stop laughing.
Stop laughing, Mock. What? Stop laughing.
It's not funny.
Did somebody put something in their butt? Is that what happened?
No.
People are always putting things in their butts. Am I wrong?
No, this is not that.
Okay. All right.
And I don't mean to laugh because this challenge resulted in the death of a 14-year-old boy, which is not funny.
It's not funny. No.
But it's just so stupid what these kids are doing because of like these idiotic challenges. There's some words that you don't ever expect are going to be combined into a sentence. This is one of those times. He took a dead butterfly, the remains of a butterfly, mixed them with water and injected those into his body.
Like injected with a needle?
Yeah.
Why?
And now he's dead.
Why would he do that? Oh my God.
No. So if people just don't do that. PSA. Like, don't do that.
That is a challenge on TikTok? God, I hate TikTok.
Well, I don't know if I can't blame TikTok. Because I didn't read the article to see where the challenge originated. I just know that that's what they were talking about is that, it's like one of these kid challenges and this kid decided to do it. And now, like, I mean, who would even thinks up that? Who's like, what would make a great challenge? Let's crush up a dead butterfly and inject it into our body. What in the world? Into our
veins. Yeah,
anyway, I can't stop thinking about it, and I needed to share.
Yeah, she needed to get that off her chest, you guys. You're welcome.
All right, let's get into some actual news.
Let's do it.
And we're going to start with this crazy plane crash, a plane that was headed from Minneapolis to Toronto. And this crash happened on the Toronto runway or just above it. Apparently there was, what we know, at least so far, is that there were really strong winds and just miserable cold in Toronto, 70-mile-per-hour gusts. And apparently, like, as this plane was coming into land, it caught a gust of wind, which ended up making it flip onto its side. Then the wing broke off, and then it flipped over and ended up catching fire as it screeched to a halt. It's absolutely insane that, like, there were some people hurt, but no one died. Everyone is accounted for, thank God. And so
which is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Right?
I mean, they were flipped around, and then you had the people getting off the plane, like filming it, and you heard the.
Yeah, we have all of that.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
When this first happened, it was Martha McCallum. Well, I mean, I'm sure lots of people were reporting it, but she's the one that I saw reporting about it. This is like moments after this happened.
Delta plane came in for a landing in the snow and 70-mile-an-hour winds, and it flipped completely over. You can see, I don't see it as clearly in this shot, but this shot right here, let's take that one out. The wheels up in the air. They've got the middle door open and the front door open, obviously, and they were helping passengers get out of there. But imagine this, all these folks are with their seatbelts on, we think, because only 8 people were injured, thank God, and one of them is critical, and we hope that person's okay. It looks like the one wing, if we're looking at it correctly, is broken off and on top of this aircraft as it lies upside down. I mean, this is just an absolutely extraordinary story. The flight was coming from Minneapolis. As we said, all passengers and crew are accounted for.
That's unbelievable. Like, truly unbelievable.
Can you imagine landing upside down in a plane? Like, if you're just like, yeah, that's the thing. I just think about being inside that plane and then it flipping over and you being in your seatbelt and like hanging upside down and like,
yeah,
oh my God, what is even happening? It's crazy.
I suspect that because I think the stats that I saw yesterday afternoon were these 15 people, including a child, were injured, at least 2 in critical condition. The Toronto area had been experiencing high wind speeds. 80 people were on board and evacuated. There were no casualties. And I suspect, and I could be wrong about this, but I imagine that the people who suffered injuries likely were people that may or may not have had their seatbelts on, right? Because like, if you're upside down, you're going to come crashing down.
Yeah.
And otherwise you're just going to be hanging, right? By the lap belt.
That child may have been on somebody's lap. Because, you know, that happens when you fly. When Gwen would fly with me, she'd be like, I remember 18 months old, she flew with me and she was just sitting on my lap. There's no seatbelt on her. I couldn't contain her. She was a toddler. Yeah,
exactly.
So that I wonder about any of the kids on board, because dang, oh my God.
It's incredible that everybody's okay. I mean, thank goodness for that. And we have a lot more video and stories about that to get to, but we do want to tell everybody to make sure that they're eating their fruits and veggies. And if you're not, at least do the cheating thing where you can take Field of Greens from Brickhouse Nutrition. This is a green powder that you just mix a little capful, what's the scoop? You take a scoopful of it, you mix it in 8 ounces of water. You can make smoothies if you prefer smoothies. You can mix it with whatever you want, but it essentially gives you all the good stuff that you get from fruits and veggies, which are so hard to get the amount that you're supposed to eat every day. This is the way to cheat. This color happens to be the wild berry. It's absolutely my favorite. I know your favorite is the lemon lime.
Right. It's not called sweet tea, but it is like sweet tea.
But Lori Mazzamuro had written us and said, I've been drinking the lemon lime Field of Greens, which does taste like sweet tea. And I'm so grateful that it tastes nothing like the other green drinks that I have choked down. And she's so right. Like, this would have been an absolute deal breaker for us. If, they had asked us to try it and we were like, gross. Because listen, we don't tell you guys to buy anything that we don't use ourselves. And
that is true. And there are things that we've turned down because we're like, ew. No.
Right. Exactly. So Field of Greens is awesome. And it's got this amazing guarantee where if you don't see better results on your labs, at your doctor visits within a few months, you can get your money back. That's incredible. So if you're not eating perfectly, which is very hard to do, fill your nutrition gaps the easy way with Field of Greens. You can just go to fogchicks, fogchicks.com, and then use code CHICKS at checkout. You'll save 20% off your first order at fogchicks.com. You really should do it because it's good and it's good for you. Okay, so back to this whole plane thing. There were some incredible passenger videos, which you are about to see. There's 2 of them.
We're in Toronto. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down.
Before this plays further, hide your kids, hide your wives, because there's a lot of profanity in one or both of these. So
okay,
just hide your kids, hide your wives.
Fire department's on site. Upside down. Everybody, most people appear to be okay. We're all getting off. Some smoke going on.
Everything, drop it. Come on. Don't take your video. Step on the way. On the way.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God. Yo, I was just on this fucking plane. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yo, I was just on this fucking plane. Holy fuck.
I mean, I would be saying the same thing.
I would be doing the same thing too. I'd be like, I cannot believe that I'm alive. Yeah, that'll change people's perspective real quick. Holy crap is right.
That I cannot imagine. But leave it to the folks at NBC to immediately try to figure out a way that they can pin this Canadian airport plane crash onto Trump.
I want to, underscore, to pick up on the conversation you were just having, though, in terms of the recent string of aviation incidents. Raised a concern about FAA staffing, air traffic control staffing. Now, this is a Canadian air traffic control tower, and this is under Canadian authority once it crosses the border. And yet, as you know, there has been this talk about maybe staff cuts at the FAA as a part of President Trump's effort to trim down the federal workforce. And yet, as you also know, the FAA has been complaining for years that they are understaffed in critical job positions, especially air traffic control. I was having a conversation with somebody today about whether air traffic control in America is being affected by the staff cuts. So far, not to their knowledge.
Then why bring it up?
Other positions related to maintaining critical equipment appear to have been cut. So this is going to feed into all of these recent incidents, and the safety of the total air traffic system is going to be very much a part of the conversation as we go forward, at least on this side of the country, of the border, I should say.
I hate the legacy media. I hate them so much. Next up, they're going to be like, yes, we got word. We're not sure, but we're going to go ahead and report it anyway that Trump was actually flying the plane and Elon was his co-pilot. You cannot hate these people enough.
Yeah, because everything he said, he then negated, like in the very next breath. So why? And then he's like, you're going to start hearing about this. These are going to be the conversations. They shouldn't be, but you keep creating them for no reason. Oh my God. It's just so,
then
stupid.
He had to wait. Oh my God. Was he like in between chest feeding? Okay.
Well, what's hilarious about Mayor Pete weighing in is that this appears to be the first time he's cared about air transportation. I mean, like now he cares, now that he's no longer transportation secretary. But he tweeted, "The flying public needs answers. How many FAA personnel were just fired? What positions and why?" Such a dick for saying that. Because
he's a total
utter
dick.
nonsense. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So I'm going to have you read now. You ready to read?
Here we go. Is it more Pete?
No, it's Sean Duffy responding.
Good. Oh, this will be fun.
Here it is.
Here we go. Mayor Pete failed for 4 years to address the air traffic controller shortage and upgrade our outdated World War II era air traffic control system. In less than 4 weeks, we have already begun the process and are engaging the smartest minds in the entire world. Here's the truth. The FAA alone has a staggering 45,000 employees. Less than 400 were let go, and they were all probationary, meaning they had been hired less than a year ago. 0 air traffic controllers and critical safety personnel were let go. Mayor Pete chose to use this amazing department that is so critical to America's success as a slush fund for the Green New scam and environmental justice nonsense. Not to mention that over 90% of the workforce under his leadership were working from home, including him. The building was empty. When we finally get a full accounting of his management, I look forward to hearing from him. In the meantime, I will not rest until I return the Department of Transportation and its incredible employees to its mission of efficiency and safety. Suck it, Pete.
Right?
Ask anybody at South Bend if he can run anything.
Yeah,
honestly.
Exactly. I mean, take every single last seat.
Every one of them.
Oh, and then, all the talking heads who are trying to insist that this had something to do with DOGE, that this had something to do with Trump laying off critical employees at the FAA. It's just a lie. And so now Karoline Leavitt, God bless her, she's like on this mad, warpath to correct the record. Even the AP, their AP's Tara Kopp said FAA staff fired over the weekend included personnel that worked radar, landing, and navigational air maintenance, among others. Hundreds were fired just weeks after a fatal midair collision in DC killed 67. One employee said they were harassed on Facebook by DOGE. So Karoline was like, nope. More fake news. Number one, DOGE doesn't have a Facebook page. Number two, no air traffic controllers nor any professionals who perform safety critical functions were terminated.
Never waste a tragedy, right?
Gosh,
never.
right?
This
it's
is
gross.
They are absolutely disgusting and they're liars. And you cannot trust the legacy media. You just can't. They lie.
And you would think at this point they would realize how in the dumpster they are with the American public and the perception. And you would think that they would be doing the things necessary to correct it. Nope. They just keep doubling down.
They're quadrupling down on their just on their inaccuracies. They're not accurate in reporting anything. They lie. They're a propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. We all know that. Yeah. They just ignore them at this point. It's just they are the worst. The worst.
Absolute worst. On the CNN panel, Jennings was talking about all of this misinformation, and here is what he said.
I can only tell you what the Secretary of Transportation says. There are 45,000 employees at the FAA. We're talking about fewer than 400 people, and he says 0 air traffic controllers and critical safety personnel were let go. So if that's true, I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest with you. I do like the idea of keeping the people who are in the direct chain of command of safety and the air traffic control system and so on and so forth. But I have a hard time believing that there is a single government agency that doesn't have a bloat of administrative personnel that we could probably do without. And I think that's why a lot of voters are happy that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are finally going through the federal government and trying to take out some of this bureaucracy that we probably just don't need. So I'm reading to you what Sean Duffy says. He's the Secretary of the Transportation. I have no reason to doubt his numbers.
That's right.
Yeah.
No reason to doubt it.
God, they will just do anything with their reporting too. I swear. Like and in addition to actually flying the plane, he hates puppies and old people. And, and this is what, seriously, and children. I mean, this is what they're going to say about, they're just going to continue to make stuff up and try to pin this on Trump. It's weak and pathetic. Nobody with a brain is buying it.
And then the worst of the worst will always show their true colors in a situation like this. And here's a perfect example. Mehdi Hasan tweeted, "Make American planes crash again."
Oh my God.
Right. And one person called him out saying CNN fired Ryan Girdusky for joking that Mehdi Hasan supports terrorists. Meanwhile,
this is what he's saying.
He tweets.
God,
what a piece of crap. So he deleted it because, of course, people went absolutely ballistic, as rightly they should have.
Why would he not want to stand by that, Mock? Why would he not want to put it out there?
Here's his excuse. I deleted this sarcastic quote tweet because MAGA and Islamophobic folks are clipping it out of context and trying to ridiculously suggest I'm inciting violence. I was obviously mocking the MAGA slogan, Make America ... again, and highlighting the shocking number of plane crashes under Trump and the FAA cuts. But this tweet was in poor taste, poorly worded, and has allowed people in bad faith to call me a terrorist, with one New York Post reporter CCing the FBI. So I deleted it. Meanwhile, the right wants to silence all journalists while crying free speech.
Yeah, nobody's silencing you. And you sound like a terrorist, Mehdi. So
there was no context that was missing.
No, we saw what you wrote, and you sound like a terrorist. So it's nice that you were CC'd to the FBI. You are a piece of garbage, really. God.
Oh my God, these people.
I know. I mean, it's awful, right?
Just
not at all surprising, though. Not at all surprising.
Nobody should be surprised. Can we pause for a moment and talk about some dogs and their issues? If you have a dog that is constantly making you go to the vet and spend lots of money because they've got skin problems or ear infections or like just lots of hot spots.
Our dogs get hot, Astrid gets hot spots, and this stuff is like miraculous for her.
And she's talking about this. This Coat Defense preventative powder for dogs is absolutely incredible and can also be a treatment powder. So, and we're talking about for lots of conditions that you would ordinarily, kind of rush to the vet about. This is why so many dogs are on Apoquel, for example. They're like, oh, you have ear infections, you have skin irritations, Apoquel, you need a shot or you need pills forever and ever and ever, because the vets want your money. That's why.
Right, of course.
And so often they do not need it. So often some of the irritations are simply due to yeast infections, which can easily be treated and prevented with this amazing Coat Defense preventative powder. They've also got, of course, a line of shampoo for dogs, which is absolutely fantastic because it does not strip the necessary oils on their skin that they need to keep their healthy skin and to prevent itching once again. So please do not spend a bunch of money at the vet until you have at least tried Coat Defense products, because you will be amazed at how effective they really are. And of course, we always have a discount for you. So when you go to coatdefense.com and use code CHICKS, you will save 15% off of your entire order. coatdefense.com. Yeah, see, look, wait, whoops, wrong one. I meant to highlight this. Coat Defense really works. My dog was chewing on her paw pads and stopped immediately after using the product.
Those are toe beans.
Nicole says it works.
They're toe beans. She calls them paw pads. They're toe beans.
I mean, the big one, I guess, would be the paw pad. And then the beans.
And then the beans they're like peripheral to the paw pad.
Right.
It's
right.
Okay. I got to get my terminology correct.
By the way, totally off topic. And again, a moment of personal privilege, if I may, but at my physical therapy, center or whatever, there is a woman who does hand therapies for people. And she herself has a therapy dog. It's this gorgeous golden retriever named Bodhi. And every day when I go and I see him there and he's just such a sleepy, lazy, precious animal. And I was remarking at how gigantic his paws are and how gigantic his toe beans are. And I said that out loud. And like, my therapist had never heard that word before. Thankfully, his owner had. But like a whole bunch of people, therapist was like, have you heard of toe beans? Have you heard of toe beans? And so, yeah, she had never heard that before.
Yeah, that's our Danes have gigantic beans. Gigantic.
They probably should be called something else.
They should be called something other than beans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They should be called like
two zucchinis, like like toe zucchinis. That's
they're
what they
probably they're like walnuts. Maybe they should be like toe nuts or something.
Probably toe nuts. They're a little bit bigger than that. They're so big. Yeah, really big. Toe balls.
Toe ball. There you go. Toe balls. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, on to different news. There was some legal news that happened in Trump's favor yesterday, and it was breaking on the Outnumbered show. And so we'll just let Harris Faulkner tell you all about it.
We have some breaking news now, and this would appear to be another legal victory for the president and the person he's tasked with the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, Elon Musk. A federal judge has just declined to issue an order halting Elon Musk and DOGE from accessing federal data and slashing personnel. Attorneys general from 14 states are attempting to stop Musk and DOGE from accessing data in 7 federal agencies and from firing or putting on leave employees in those agencies. U.S. District Court Judge Chutkan just refused to issue a ruling from the bench. So at that point, she has not halted Musk and DOGE from continuing their actions inside the 7 agencies at issue here.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. Yep. And these, listen, again, we got to weed them all out. We got to weed these people out.
I'm surprised.
The people who are like trying to disrupt the audit, because that's essentially what it is. Just weed them out, And are you surprised?
Yes, I'm totally surprised. She's awful. She's an awful judge.
Right.
And so the fact that she's declining to stop them from accessing whatever information they're trying to get to is incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Because maybe she understands that she can't do that. It's like, it's unconstitutional. She can't do it. Maybe she's just kind of thinking, well, I need to actually do my job correctly. And I need to do that above hating this individual.
I find it hard to believe that she's had a change of heart. There's something going on here. Like, I don't know what it is, but something is incredibly fishy because she is awful,
Yeah.
So something is up. I don't know what it is, but we'll probably find out at some point. Also, you guys remember that Pam Bondi decided to go after Letitia James and Kathy Hochul and a bunch of people in New York. And so Mike Davis was on the Benny show yesterday. He's so awful in like the best way.
Oh my God, we love him. Yeah.
I love him so much. And so there was some discussion with Benny about why Pam Bondi chose to prosecute civilly and not criminally. And here is Mike's theory.
I think Pam has the budget right now to feed Tish James in prison. So I think we're going to wait until we get a supplemental from Congress for the prison food budget to feed her fat ass in prison. And I think that's going to be the step 2.
I want to be friends with this guy so bad. Like we've interviewed him once and he was very professional when he interviewed. And I don't think he could actually say those things on our show.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to get him back.
He was so straight laced and so wonky. And we were like trying to get him to play. And he obviously can play,
Yeah. Because listen, I'm down. If you want to call her a fat ass on our show, that's fine. We're all right with that. We don't judge. It's fine.
Oh my gosh, so funny. This is actually a segment. I know it's early in the show to have a segment of mishmashery, but this is in fact some mishmashery. So unrelated to absolutely anything is this tweet from Dana Loesch, which I think she speaks for a lot of us on this. But inexplicably, the Trump administration is putting some pressure on Romania to lift restrictions on Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. And if you are not aware of who the Tate brothers are, congratulations, because they are disgusting.
You're better off.
You're so much better off. And these are 2 disgusting pieces of crap that I don't even know why the United States government would be wasting their time trying to do anything for.
I think that there are right-wing people who love them. There are some people on our side of the aisle. Am I wrong? There's some people on our side of the aisle that think that they're great. Andrew Tate.
Lena Habba said, "Oh, I'm a huge fan to Andrew Tate," and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
they're awful.
Yeah,
they're awful.
It's pretty gross. Yeah,
it's super gross. So anyway, Dana was like, "LOL, WTF?" That's exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah, exactly. Our sentiments, exactly, Dana. Right.
And then yesterday, very proud moment for the Chicks brand. I was on X scrolling through as I do, and I noticed that Jasmine Crockett had just the most ridiculous tweet. And typically when I see her tweet, I respond in not so kind ways.
Right.
And I discovered yesterday that I was unable to respond because Jasmine Crockett is sick and tired of my shit.
She has blocked us, you guys. I'm so proud.
She has blocked us.
I'm so proud of us. Proud of you. Proud of us.
Right?
I mean, I feel like this is a monumental feat when we get blocked by Jasmine Crockett. It's a good day.
Yeah, I
It's a
thought
good
so.
day,
I
you
was
guys.
super happy about it. But I want you to try to read the tweet of hers that I was trying to respond to, because I just give this a go, if you would, please.
Happy President's Day to those that weren't psychopaths worshiping Putin who spout lies off as consistently as the rest of us take our breaths. Oh, and no happy President's Day to shadow presidents either. SN, what's SN?
That's a great question.
SN.
Side note.
Shadow Prez is in his feelings. I see they found an uneducated black woman to rant. FYI, the internet can tell you which committees I'm on. Boo. Again, y'all love a fool. Learn civics too. Ask your new boo Elon to come before Congress under penalty for any lies and to testify and give recommendations. The power of the purse belongs to Congress, as laid out in the Constitution. Elon ain't got that power. Can anyone who watches C-SPAN guess what committees I'm on? God, she is just trash.
Just garbage woman.
Mm-hmm.
And
a
I was
racist.
unable to
yeah,
respond.
She's William the Texan. She's also a racist. Yes. Yeah, she's racist.
And just so like with their lashes.
Eyelashes.
Stop it.
My husband calls them spiders when you put spiders on your eyes. Yeah. Men love that. They really do.
Yeah.
Don't you guys love that? Yeah.
She's absolutely vile. Somebody's saying we should sue her. I think it was her personal account that she blocked us from. So I don't think she blocked us from her official account, but like her personal account is where she does all the stupid. And so that's way more fun to respond to.
Right.
But whatever.
And honestly, like we would at this point in 16 years of being chicks and doing this, we probably could have sued a lot of people for a lot of things, but I don't know if you guys know how expensive lawyers are. They're pretty expensive.
They're expensive.
Right.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Okay. We also need to talk about ridiculousness of MSNBC. So of course, yesterday was President's Day, and there was actually a segment on MSNBC about, well, maybe that is a bad idea because some presidents suck. So this is an actual conversation that like a person on a panel had on MSNBC. Oh shoot, I almost forgot about Pete Hegseth getting audited. Do you think that this is incredibly coincidental timing?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. It's a constitutional crisis. Yeah. Meantime, we're going to weaponize the IRS against our political opponents. That's what these people are doing. That's exactly what this is. Of course.
I mean, this is so obvious. So he posted a little picture of the letter that he and his wife got suggesting from the IRS that they're being audited and that they owe a balance of over $33,000. And he said, as a caption to the photo, he said, of course, the outgoing Biden IRS rushed an audit of the incoming SecDef. Total sham. And he is right.
It's this. And then they're like, we're so afraid that Trump is going to weaponize against us, weaponize these. Okay. They're there. That's precisely what this is.
All right. Now to that MSNBC clip about President's Day. It just doesn't get any dumber than this.
All right. So the headline here is presidential historian says President's Day is ridiculous. We should scrap it. What do you mean?
It is a little bit silly. I mean, we have had some real duds, so I'm not sure we really want to be celebrating all presidents.
What?
And the tradition actually comes from celebrating birthdays, which is a celebration that we inherited from celebrating the king. And I'm just not sure that that's exactly what we want. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that we necessarily want to celebrate the people. I think that we want to have a certain respect for the office. I totally get that. And some have done extraordinary things, but by celebrating all of them, I do think it causes us to think of the president as somehow other, when in reality, they are a citizen just like everyone else.
I cannot.
She didn't feel that way when Biden was in office, you know? It was, again, this is like the dumbest thing. It was the like poo-poo on president's panel. And they try to grasp it, like what they can. This is what these people do. They're just, who watches this shit? Who watches it? Honestly.
I don't know. Because you're right. There's absolutely no way that 4 years ago she was saying this at all.
Of course she would. I don't even know who that chick is, and I would put money on that.
Faux show. We've got some great actual Michael Knowles clips today, a couple of them. So he is today's Scott Jennings, only he's not. It's Michael Knowles, who is our dear little friend and who we think of as like our child because he is so
lovely.
He was so young when we met him.
Oh my gosh, he was like in college when we met him.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I mean,
precious.
I'm so proud of him.
I am too. I'm really proud of him too.
But before we get to a fantastic Michael Knowles clip, we do want to remind everybody about the mega sale. This is the first ever mega sale happening at mypillow.com/chicks. And when I say mega, I mean mega, like the towel sets, the 6-piece towel sets, which there is no other better towel on the planet. There is no better towel set on the planet. Fight me on it.
It's true.
Than MyPillow towels. There just isn't. They're just the best towels ever. You can get them for less than $30 right now, a whole set of 6. That's huge, huge discount. Flannel sheets are less than $50 right now. They've got the My Cross necklace. If you're into the cross that Mike Lindell wears, they have a women's one and a men's one because those are the only 2 genders. And so that's what they have. And when you use code CHICKS at mypillow.com/chicks, you will also get free shipping on every order in addition to the big fat giant discounts that are happening due to the mega sale. So check it out now, mypillow.com/chicks. And then don't forget to use code CHICKS. Michael Knowles does, I don't know the name of this format, this platform, but there's this platform where Michael Knowles is freaking brave as anything. And so are other conservatives who go on this platform and sit in the middle of a circle of naysayers, people who are just crazy. And then one by one, these people come up to a desk and try to fight with whoever the conservative is. So this is Michael Knowles's turn at the table, and it's a room filled with trans people. And of course, he's been very vocal about wanting to eradicate the transgender ideology.
Right.
So he was fought with like crazy with so many people. We could have made our whole show just amazing clips from this whole episode. But this one was fantastic.
Oh my God. Liberal logic. It's an oxymoron, right? Really. It is. It's an oxymoron. There is no such thing as liberal logic.
Yeah, it's not happening, but if it is, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's their argument.
Because that's how I feel about it. I feel that way about men stealing things from women, essentially is what it is. And then she probably calls herself a feminist.
I'm sure.
He calls himself a feminist.
Just ridiculous. All right. The reason that we said in our title today that Deborah Birx can suck it is that it's fascinating to me that she was basically one of the faces of COVID under Trump's administration when she and Fauci were constantly telling us all what to do and explaining to us why we all needed to be vaccinated and all of those things. And now that we know everything that we know, now she's written a book and like just is talking about how wrong she was and how wrong everybody was without any shame or actual accountability. Right. And it's the way, so she was on Piers Morgan with a bunch of people, but she was talking about how they should have said from the outset, by the way, this whole mRNA vaccine totally does not work like normal vaccines. And really, we should have just given it to old people. She's saying that as if she weren't part of that problem. Yeah. And she's taking no responsibility for it and makes me want to punch her in the face. Not that we condone violence on this show.
No, I mean,
we do not.
Maybe. Like, it's just the scarf alone drives me crazy. All of her stupid scarves. But she's saying that it wasn't developed to prevent infection. This is what she's saying.
How does she say that? And just like in a scolding way, as if we should have known better.
No, it's like
her whole tone makes me so mad.
Right, are you playing the clip? We're going to play the clip. Okay, let's play the clip first.
In the first place. He made it very clear to every mom out there that his children were immunized about childhood vaccines. Yeah. And what we've done wrong in public health is we didn't explain that COVID vaccines were nothing like the childhood vaccines, and that the childhood vaccines, like many of the diseases, you get it once, you don't get it again. And this is getting the children to have that disease without getting the deadly consequences. That is not what the COVID vaccine was designed to do. It wasn't designed to prevent against infection. And if you look at the vaccine hesitancy rates, they've doubled since COVID. So we have to start addressing these things. We can't just ignore
them. And Deborah, let me ask you, Deborah, I mean, given that you were the face of COVID from the Trump presidency at the time, do you share, this doctor who I was with, do you share the concerns about the longer term negative impact of some of the COVID vaccines?
The messenger RNA vaccine should have been rolled out for the people that were at risk for severe disease. Because that's what that's what the vaccine was developed for. But when we say that we're following the science and the data, we need to follow the science and the data. And the science and the data said people primarily over 65 or people with significant comorbidities were at risk for severe disease. Those are the individuals that should have been immunized first. And we should have put our science behind our immunization schedule and protected those most at risk. It went into young people in hospitals before it went into our elderly in nursing homes. That is not following the science and the data. So I am all for following the science and the data, but it shouldn't just be a statement. It should be a reality. And when we don't match what we do in public health to the science and the data, that is when we get into trouble. And that's when we start to fracture trust with the American people.
It's already done.
Where was she?
Yeah, she's covering her ass. That's what this is. It's too late, lady. You cannot do that. We all know you're a part of it. Because listen, if it wasn't designed for X, then what was it designed for? You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. Why didn't she tell us any of these things years ago? Why didn't she get up on the podium and say something if she felt
exactly when
it?
Schools were demanding that kids have it, when colleges were declining attendees if they didn't have it? Where was she?
There are people in this country still today, right now, who can't get transplants because of the bullshit that they spewed to people.
Right.
So don't talk to me about, now I believe all this stuff. This is the way we should have done it. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, lady. You failed. You were part of the failure that is like Fauci and company. Huge failures. Like, he needs to go to jail. She needs to go to jail. These people are irresponsible twats is what they are.
And instead, they're being invited on talk shows and scolding us again for like not realizing that they weren't actually practicing science and data.
I think it's because she's scared. She knows that she was part of it. She was part of something that was terrible. And we don't have trust in public health anymore. And it's because of people like her. And she doesn't want to take responsibility for that. Well, too bad. I hope she has to take responsibility for it.
Side note, the guy just to the right of Piers Morgan in this screenshot is that guy that wants to live forever. And so he's doing all the crazy things to like try to live forever.
That's him?
Yeah. I watched a documentary about him on I think it was Netflix. And it was fascinating because he really is sort of doing good for science because he's allowing himself to be guinea pigged in some ways to try all of these crazy ways of staying young forever.
And they're doing biohacking. He calls it biohacking.
Right. And there's like a study of his biological age, and he actually has decreased his biological age by like 5 or 6 years or something based on the things that he does. But the things that he does, you guys, are freaking insane.
Yeah.
Like he takes, I want to say, like 80 supplements a day. He goes to bed at exactly 8:30 at night. He always gets exactly the same number of hours of sleep. He does an exact workout routine. I mean, everything is very specific. And he also does like crazy injections and all kinds of red light there. I mean, so many things.
So he's cut 5 years off, or he's added 5 years to his life or whatever that, I don't even know. He's cut it because he's genetically younger. At least he appears to be genetically younger, but yet he's not having fun.
Well, that's the thing. It looks awful.
It sounds like an awful life.
And his last meal of every day is at 11 o'clock in the morning. So he gets up and he has like these few little meals. Yeah, he does this weird fasting thing, but it's a very specific diet, like super fruits and veggies, related. And then he said in the documentary, he said the saddest moment of every day is his last bite of his last meal at 11 a.m. And I'm just like, what a way to live, man. But I know he is doing good for like this experiment, right? Like he's
like this is what
data.
This is what it takes to have a younger body.
Yeah.
To physically, I guess, well, in theory, to have a younger body. And who determines that? That's the thing. Like what?
There's so many doctors working with him and scientists that are working with him.
And so
like it's a whole process.
Instead of being 40, you're actually 34. Like that's what's so bizarre to me. I don't.
Yeah. You should watch it. It's super interesting. I mean, it really is a fascinating.
There are a lot of biohackers out there. There's a lot like Asprey. If you guys know Dave Asprey, he's the guy that invented the bulletproof diet. He's another one that does that. There's a lot of them out there who are just obsessed with this. We've got to live, to be super old and we got to do all these things to cut years off our life. There's a lot of them. It's like a whole movement of people that do that. Thank you, but.
And his son, he has a son that is also kind of doing the same things with him. And they're super tight. Like his son just went off to college, but at least when this documentary was being made, I'm not sure how long ago it was. But I mean, it's really, really interesting. And he's a self-made gajillionaire. So, and it costs a lot of money to do what it is that he's doing. But
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway. All right. Moving on. I didn't mean to get off on that tangent. You had sent this clip of Bill Burr, who you used to be a huge fan of.
I loved him. I used to love I loved his comedy. I thought it was really funny. And now he's just gone completely woke. It's so disappointing. It's such a shame.
Woke.
Yeah.
And he used to make fun of woke, and now he is woke. Yeah. And I don't get it. Why is he doing this?
Where was the flip, like the switch flipped? I need to know when that happened. Because he really did turn quickly, don't you think? Like all of a sudden, he's like this crazy liberal. It's weird.
It's weird. And in this clip that you're about to hear, he's talking about billionaires, and he's talking about how billionaires basically need to be taken out.
That are struggling out there because of these billionaires, and they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that. Like I am so tired of hearing about people going to bed worried about what's going to happen next week. There is so much fucking money in this country, and there's so much work being done, and if you work a full fucking week at a job, you should be able to pay your fucking rent. You shouldn't have to go out and get a fucking job and still be struggling. It's bad for the country because then the kids don't see their parents and they're not getting the upbringing that they need. It's so fucking, these fucking billionaires, they need to be put down, like fucking rabid dogs.
Okay.
They're like rabid with fucking greed and just going out and just dividing everybody.
Says the guy who's worth $14 million. And like works for Disney. You know what I mean? Like
whose rent is he paying?
Exactly. This is the thing. It's like when is enough? Because couldn't you have stopped at 2 million as a net worth, Bill? Those effing billionaires. It's like maybe that's why he's so mad. Is because he's not a billionaire.
But once he is, I can assure you that he'll be talking about those awful trillionaires.
Yeah, exactly. I know. But this is the thing is and it actually surprised me that he was only worth 14 million. So it doesn't sound like he can manage his money for it because he's done a lot of crap. So I was like, wow, he's on the Disney payroll. He's like this big woke star now. He's not a regular guy. He's just another blowhard celebrity who wants to tell, regular people what's what when he doesn't know what that's like. He doesn't know what it's like. He thinks he does. And he thinks, I can blame it on it's not the billionaire's fault. It's not the billionaire's fault that we're all pinned against each other. Has he looked at the government lately? Honestly.
It's ridiculous. Okay, the reason for my name today is due to Meghan Markle, who is an insufferable beast. And so you may remember that she was going to have a Netflix show that she clearly was copying straight from Martha Stewart. She wants to be the next Martha Stewart, except that she's just desperately unlikable.
She's not
she's not Martha Stewart.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
So you might remember that the show was supposed to start, I don't know, like weeks ago, and then the California wildfires made it get delayed, and so now it's starting in a couple weeks. And remember how she had a whole branding rollout where she was going to have like jams and all kinds of other shit to sell called American Riviera something or other, like just something obnoxiously pretentious. So now she has decided to rebrand, which that seems awfully soon to rebrand, but she has decided to. And so she put out an Instagram post about it, about how her series is coming out. And now her brand is called As Ever.
Oh my
which
God.
she felt the need to define for us peasants. She said, as ever means as it's always been, or some even say, in the same way as always. So here is an unsufferable video that I got through, and you have to also, of her talking about her new as ever brand.
It's recording.
Okay. Cat's out of the bag. I'm shocked we've kept this a secret for so long. In 2 weeks, my show's coming out, which I'm so excited for. And also my business, which I think there's been a lot of curiosity about. Last year,
we're not curious.
I thought, you know what, American Riviera, that sounds like such a great name. It's my neighborhood. It's a nickname for Santa Barbara. But it limited me to things that were just manufactured and grown in this area. Then Netflix came on, not just as my partner in the show, but as my partner in my business, which was huge. So I thought about it, and I've been waiting for a moment to share a name that I had secured in 2022, and this is the moment. And it's called As Ever. As Ever essentially means as it's always been. And if you followed me since 2014 with the TIG, you know I've always loved cooking and crafting and gardening. This is what I do, and I haven't been able to share it with you in the same way for the past few years, but now I can. So as things are starting to trickle out there, I wanted you to hear it from me first. Of course, there will be fruit preserves. I think we're all clear at this point that jam is my jam. But there's so many more products that I just love that I use in my home, and now it's time to share it with you. So I can't wait for you to see it. Thanks, guys.
She is an insufferable narcissist. She's just so into herself. She cannot just be a private person. She can't do it.
She wants her privacy.
She wants her privacy, you guys. She wants it. But yet she doesn't. Here's it. I mean, and then she was showing pictures of Lilibet, I guess her daughter. Like she's, you know what I mean? They act like they wanted all this privacy, which is why they left the royalty thing.
Yeah.
And she wants everybody to see her every day, every minute of every day. She's in our faces. Just narcissism.
And just this need to explain to the plebes what 2 words mean that everybody knows the meaning of.
Well, we don't understand that. I'm sorry. I'm not a princess. I don't understand words. She needs to explain it to me. Oh my God.
God, she's awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. All right. Moving on. Did you know a whole other American hostage was in Russia who Trump has just negotiated the release of? How many more are there, you guys,
I
that
know,
we don't
right?
know about?
I feel like there's
This
an
is
endless
crazy.
list. Exactly. Good job,
This is
Biden.
crazy. So 28-year-old Caleb Byers, his release has been confirmed by the Kremlin. This was another thing that President Trump secured the release of yet this other American, another one. I have no idea that was even over there. So this is great. Like I saw this and I was like, yay, look at you go, President Trump doing all the good things. But again, how many more are there? And why is this the first time we're hearing of them? This is crazy.
And liberals will spin this too. And they'll be like, oh my God, he's BFFs with Russia and Putin because this guy was released. Like they won't just, you know what I mean? Like they won't just give him credit where credit is due because he's making sure that all these people get released all over the freaking world. But you won't hear him talk about this stuff. You just won't. And if they talk about it, it'll be in a negative way.
God,
That's our media.
Also, we spent quite a bit of time yesterday on that 60 Minutes whole thing, JD Vance's speech that infuriated Germany and the rest of Europe when he was talking about censorship and how bad it's getting over in Germany and other European countries. And there is also, this is not just limited to Germany. We talked about that yesterday, but Switzerland also has in its government some Swiss lady who is severely anorexic. Okay.
Yeah. She's vegan, but she's vegan.
She's also vegan. She's severely anorexic, which allegedly she has talked about her illness. I looked this morning, couldn't find word one about it. But in any case, you're going to be jarred by her appearance. She is another one of these government officials in Europe who is talking about doing away with Twitter altogether in Europe. And it's like it's proving JD Vance's point yet again.
Right.
They don't realize that they're doing this, but they constantly prove him right as they're angry with him for saying the truth out loud. This is her. Her name is Merit Schneider, and she's pushing to ban X entirely in Switzerland, saying that it poses a threat to democracy.
Yeah, they're hiding behind this whole threat to democracy thing. I think all liberals are doing that. They need to stop because we know exactly what they're doing. It's kind of like they were told, oh, call DOGE a constitutional crisis. It's like this whole threat to democracy thing. They've been screaming this for years. It's not. None of this is. X is not that. X is a forum for free speech, and everybody can just say the things. It's a big town hall, town square where people can say the things. And if she has, hurt feel-bads by that, then too bad. Don't be on it. If anybody does, don't be on it. Yeah. And man, she needs a burger. God.
Yeah, she really does. There's another photo of her. I mean, you guys.
And if you saw
so
her
bad.
in 2018, if you saw her, she was.
I have it.
Do you have it?
So this is a photo. This is another photo of her, like right now with her cat. But before this disease, look at her. I mean, she looked completely fine, very, very pretty. It's just a horrible shame what anorexia does to people's minds and bodies. So I hope she gets help, but I also hope she shuts up because Twitter needs to be in existence. Yeah. And she should be using the platform. She can say all the crazy shit she wants to on Twitter. She can write on Twitter that she wants it to go away. But the reason to have it is so that everybody can have a voice.
Right. So, and anybody who's American should be backing that. Liberals too. I'm not sure why they don't, but they should.
And then yesterday, we also made fun of that amazing clip from Margaret Brennan where she was like, I mean, the Holocaust was caused by speech. Yeah, it was totally because of free speech. And she's gotten killed for it. But there was another clip of her, again, her tone about America compared to Europe. It's clear that she's a globalist. It's clear that she has huge problems with JD speaking the truth to Europe. And it's all about the tone. Check out this video of her.
Well, it sounded to a lot of these allies of the United States like they were being described as adversaries or autocrats. It was really the focus here, two things. One of them was migration, and the second was what Vice President Vance calls censorship. He was trying to bring that MAGA message of the enemy within to the global stage. And specifically, he says that European leaders aren't showing that they have strong democracies when they sideline controversial groups. He went out of his way to meet with the head of the AfD. That's a political party that's under investigation in Germany because it's so far right and for potentially conducting extremism. And he mentioned that car ramming in Munich recently conducted by an Afghan migrant as an example of what he says is out of control migration. He says that's proof you've got to bring immigration skeptics into the government.
I love how she's like censorship, like it's not happening. Oh my God, you're out of your mind. And you know what? Other countries, when it comes to this whole migration thing and immigration thing, other countries have very strict laws and they abide by them, letting people into their countries. Why is it that we are not allowed to do that with the left? It's like, and I'm talking European countries do the same thing too. A lot of European countries do. And then, so I look at them and I think, okay, nobody bitches and moans about those countries, but yet when we do it and we want to do it because we haven't done it over the past several years. But if we want to do it and we want to be strict about who comes in here and really do our checks and balances and vet people, that's somehow racist and xenophobic and every other ist and ob. And
and I'll tell you, the countries that are minding their borders are doing a heck of a lot better than the ones that aren't. Because if you look at the UK, if you look at Germany, if you look at where it's been lax, that's where they're having all the problems.
Exactly. I know. But see, this is the thing. But she's living in a fantasy world. She doesn't have to live. She's obviously not living anywhere where illegal immigration affects her or has ever affected her personally. And then on top of that, she thinks that censorship is, in air quotes, like she thinks it's not really a thing. You know what I mean?
Wow. God, the disdain that she clearly had for JD and that, unbelievable.
And the decline of that show. I mean, I think we talked about this with Sean Spicer the other day, how it went on the air in 1954. And I'm not saying that like everybody that's hosted it has been great, because there's probably been a lot of liberals who have hosted the show, but she is the worst person to host that show. Like, way to run it into the ground.
Yeah, she's just absolutely awful. What I do love about JD Vance especially is that now that he's VP, he is not changing at all. And he's every bit as vocal on X as he ever was. He's not toning it down. Like he's not censoring himself in any way. And Mehdi Hasan, I know we've already talked about him once again, but he went after JD on X yesterday saying, hey, JD, I know you're busy lecturing the Europeans on free speech, but have you seen this? And it was a tweet from Mark Caputo saying President Trump's decision to limit AP reporters' access is as much fight over the Gulf of America as it is a protest of what White House advisors say is years of liberal word choices that AP's influential style book has spread across mainstream media. And JD responded saying, yes, dummy. I think there's a difference between not giving a reporter a seat in the White House press briefing room and jailing people for dissenting views. The latter is a threat to free speech. The former is not. Hope that helps.
Yeah, dumbass. Hope that helps. I swear.
God, I love that.
Right. And then you compare the how transparent this administration is to the last 4 years. They've all talked and been communicative with us more than anybody has in the past 4 years. It's staggering. And they will just keep pushing. They'll try to keep pushing buttons. People like Mehdi Hasan. Just shut up. Shut up.
And then lastly, because we did talk about the 60 Minutes show, it was just like a 15-minute segment of 60 Minutes this past Sunday where they interviewed all kinds of people in Germany who thought it was great that they are going after, with police, with jail time, with stiff fines, people who are simply expressing opinions on the internet. And the crazy thing, as you're about to hear from Guy Benson, is that there was no alternate view. And that's what made this particular segment especially egregious. Here's Guy to explain.
No single clip does justice to this 13-minute segment on 60 Minutes. It is almost unbelievable to watch. I encourage people to do so. It really confirms a key thesis of the vice president's speech in Germany. The Germans themselves confirming to CBS, this is how we do things. We don't really believe in free speech. We believe in censorship very strongly. And the tone of the CBS report was enthralled. The CBS correspondent seemed almost envious of the German system. And one thing I'll say about it is, having watched it now twice, there were 5 interviews done. 5 people featured on camera over the course of the interview. All 5 of them were in favor of government censorship of free speech. 3 prosecutors, a pro-censorship activist, and a pro-censorship left-wing politician. Not even a 15-second clip for a pretense of balance from someone who opposes government censorship of free speech in the CBS clip. So really confirming and fortifying what Vance has said here at home about the media and what he said in Munich to the Germans about their own country. He was not wrong.
Yeah, it's called propaganda. And Germany, as we've seen in the past, is pretty good at that. So
yes,
it's a little alarming.
Yes, they are. They do have a bit of a history with that sort of thing.
Yeah. Maybe don't repeat history. Oh my God. Wow, that is unreal. And they're helping him. Our legacy media is helping him do that, which is gross. It's really gross.
Thankfully, there are a lot of folks right here in our own audience and all over the country who appreciate the changes that are happening as a result of Trump's administration and of DOGE in particular. I loved that Dana Bash had to report on this. They apparently CNN did. They apparently talked to some Arizona voters who were Biden supporters back in 2020 and then voted for Trump in 2024 to check in with them. How are you feeling about everything that Trump has done in the first 4 weeks? And here is the report, which I'm surprised, honestly, aired.
Talked to some Arizona voters who switched from voting for Joe Biden in 2020 to Trump in 2024. And so far, they mostly like what they see.
I just think he's trying to get America back on track as quickly as possible, given the state that it was left in from the previous administration.
It feels more merit and transparency that I'm getting from the administration so far.
I approve of a lot of the stuff that he's doing with the border and everything.
He's put other countries on notice that we're to be taken seriously.
For the most part, I feel like he's on the right track by keeping transgenders out of women's sports. That's number one.
All 11 Biden-Trump voters say they approve of Donald Trump's first weeks in office. My panel is back.
She's like, let me bring in the poo-poo presidential panel. I need another panel to make me feel better about the fact that I'm losing. Yeah, you're losing.
Right?
Jenna.
That
You're
was
losing. God bless her.
Glorious.
It is. It's glorious. It makes me wonder, like CNN, are they going to take stock, and are they taking stock in the fact that they've sucked so long, and then perhaps they're starting to change the way they do things there. I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, they do have Scott.
They
Jennings.
do. And they continue to let him talk,
Mhm.
and he just smacks people down like all the time. So stuff like that, it just makes me wonder, like, what are they doing behind the scenes? Are there people that are thinking, the path that we've taken over the past several years has not really worked out well for CNN. And so, or MSNBC or ABC or CBS, any of those people. But it just makes me wonder if they're one of the few that's going to learn a little.
It is interesting that you say that, because they also had on, what's her name? Brianne, is it Brianne Kyler or whatever her name is? She had on her CNN program, Frank Luntz, to talk about recent polling that is very much in favor of Donald Trump and everything that all the actions that he's taken so far. And again, the fact that they aired this entire segment, I was like, well, look at CNN go.
It's a little weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you do a lot of focus groups. You really get behind the numbers, the poll numbers, to the sentiments of voters. And it's so interesting. You've been speaking with a number of voters who were Hillary Clinton 2016, Joe Biden 2020, and then went for Trump in 2024. How are these folks seeing the early days of Trump's second term?
Pretty well.
Really?
And they're reacting to it because they love the pace of change. They were very fed up over the last 4 years. They wanted action. They wanted results. They looked at prices. They looked at affordability, looked at immigration, and they didn't see anything happening. They still don't like what he says, but they like what he does. And these are Democrats now who felt that they were not securing the border. They were doing nothing to prevent illegal immigration, that nothing was actually happening. They wanted to see a reduction in wasteful Washington spending, and they're seeing that. So what they tell me is, I wish you'd be a little bit less rude. But at the same time, they like what he's doing. They believe he's serious about it. And for the first time, they have confidence in the future, which is why you now see some significant shifts in the polling about the expectations for the direction in the coming years.
It's a big wake-up call for Democrats.
I'm waiting for them to get a message. I'm waiting for them to unify and to understand that to oppose and to be the resistance, which is what some of them use that phrase. That's not what Democrats in grassroots areas want from them. They may not want the approach that Trump is doing, President Trump. By the way, I now know to say President Trump. But they do want action, and they don't see action from the Democrats.
They should have gotten a wake-up call back in November, and they didn't heed that wake-up call. And then he's like, oh, maybe they'll get the message or change it in some way. They're not gonna if they have people like David Hogg in charge. You know what I mean? And also, what is his hair? What is that hair?
I don't know, man. I know a lot of people were distracted by it in the comments.
It's hard. Like, that MFR isn't real. That is not. What is that?
There's just a lot of.
It's a lot.
I mean, maybe he has really thick hair and he just colored it a weird color. Or maybe that's just a whole rug.
I don't know what that is, but it's
I don't
like an
either.
animal, and I'm concerned for the animal that's living on top of his head. Oh my God.
So now that we've had the good news, we do need to point out that there are still plenty of crazy ass liberals in the country that are trying to make as much chaos and mayhem as they possibly can. Apparently yesterday was this day of protests that were planned all over the country. And we've got some highlights. So one of the major ones was, of course, in DC. There were thousands of protesters and activists gathered near the Capitol. There was a huge rally against DOGE. And so lots of signs that they had said Gulf of Mexico, or they were saying, they're one of their slogans, which they didn't coordinate very well, but they were saying Gulf of Mexico, instead of Gulf of America. They were saying Elon Musk is a Nazi because that's super clever. And they had this happened in multiple cities across the United States. We've just got a few little highlights coming up right here. Show you how big. I mean, these were majorly attended for sure. A lot of payments went out to a lot of protesters.
I was going to say, a lot of them were paid, $200 to $1,000. It's like when you get paid, of course you're going to step. If you don't have a job, which most of these people obviously don't have, you're going to go out there and protest. Look at the upside down flag. I swear, these people. And you guys, they're protesting an audit. They're protesting, like, just saving money themselves. I'm assuming that at least 2 of these people pay taxes, right?
Yeah.
United we stand, divided we fall. United we stand. Ain't no power, the power, the people, the power, the people don't stop. Ain't no power, the power, the people, the power, the people don't stop. Ain't no power, the power, the people, the power, the people don't stop. Ain't no power, the power, the people, the power, the people don't stop. Ain't no power, the power, the people, the power, the people don't stop. Ain't no power, the power, the people, the power, the people don't stop.
Anybody? The power of the people and the power of the people don't stop. That's what they're saying.
Okay.
That's what they're saying. And I can smell that video.
Right?
I
know.
God. It's just like patchouli and BO and just sadness, you know?
And unfortunately, there's a you know how they like to say these crowds are decent size, I have to say.
Yeah, but it's not what you're saying about the people. You don't understand how government works. Oh my God.
This is the dumbest argument ever.
It is. It's so stupid. They have no idea what so you're fighting against saving money.
Right.
And not being broke. And they think that we're somehow taking things over. The GOP is taking over. We're just trying to get control back from this bloated, out of control government that's been stealing from us for years. What?
And you would think that they would want that too. But they don't.
They are brainwashed, Michelle. They're complete. It is. It's astounding to me how they are defending this. It makes zero sense.
But you guys, the bangers that are coming out of these protests.
The power of people, and the power of people don't stop.
This guy got a solo.
Forward. Keep on moving forward.
God, I can't. I just
can't.
Keep
on moving forward. Never turning back.
He's been waiting for this moment his whole life. He's been just waiting.
Trump is not a king.
Oh, okay.
Trump is not a king.
Oh my God.
It's so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed for them.
How? Are you a Democrat still? How?
Never turning back.
Dogs everywhere, like, stop. Oh my God. Whoa, they're howling. This guy.
Oh my God. Just so painful.
It is just so cringe.
So painful. But yeah, there are still a lot of naysayers out there. So just be aware.
Lucy Cat said that he pees sitting down. I agree with that. I'm pretty sure that guy does. Yeah.
Also in Doge news, there are now separate Doge accounts for every agency. So this is kind of exciting. You can see there's a whole list of them, like every single one, Social Security, OMB, education, they all have their own little page. And so you can keep track of exactly how they're uncovering fraud, waste, and abuse on each individual page.
And the first time we've ever seen this amount of transparency ever.
It's amazing.
It is.
Then Doge, the main account, posted about this amazing thing. They said the Treasury Access Symbol, TAS, is an identification code linking a Treasury payment to a budget line item, which is this is a standard financial process. But in the federal government, the TAS field was optional for around $4.7 trillion in payments.
Oh my God.
And so it was often left blank, making it impossible to trace. So as of this past weekend, and I give all props to Scott Bessent for this too, this is now a required field, increasing our ability to have insight into where the money is actually going. And then thanks to the U.S. Treasury for the great work.
And these people are out there protesting the fact that they found $4.7 trillion in waste. Like, these people pissed away $4.7 trillion with the T, which
it's missing.
Totally missing. Gone, right. And these are the same people that hired 89,000 IRS agents to come after you to get more of your tax money. Oh my God. I shouldn't have to pay my taxes until I can. Seriously, tax season is here, right? We're all dealing with taxes.
We're all in it.
At this point, we're all in it. We're in the thick of it. I shouldn't have to pay 1 cent in taxes until these yahoos tell me where that money went. I want to know where that $4.7 trillion with a T went. We fought a revolution over a 2% T-tax. And they're missing 4.7 trillion. And that's just like the scratching of the surface, right?
I know. God.
They have no idea what America is about. And those people that are protesting lost. They're completely lost.
How anybody is against this, it doesn't make any sense.
There are words that I can't say on our podcast.
Okay. So also, while all this is going, while Elon and his DOGE team are gaining access into all the records and whatever they need to look at to try to find how much of our money has been wasted, you can now tell who the Democrats are that are festering within these government agencies based on who is leaving. So, for example, the interim director or the head of Social Security Administration resigned because she didn't like them asking to have access to records.
Right.
So Michelle King, the acting head of the Social Security Administration, has resigned. Yesterday, Elon said, hey, by the way, there's 20 million dead people in the Social Security database. Probably shouldn't be paying them. Can we just make sure that they're not being paid? And she was like, I quit.
And not only that, okay, so there's a lot of corruption coming from our government where 20 million dead people are on the Social Security database. Somebody's taking those checks.
Exactly.
People are taking those checks. I want all those people to go to jail too. I want that to happen. If you get a check in the mail that's not yours and it's like for your dead grandma and you're taking that, you suck. You're a horrible human being and you should also go to jail.
Yep.
Full stop.
Yep, exactly right. And according to Shark Tank Kevin O'Leary, he doesn't think we're cutting enough, which is absolutely this hilarious take. He was on a CNN panel, and I think Scott Jennings is on this panel, but he's doing the talking. And I think most people who are on the panel, who are of course not conservative minded, were just like shell shocked by what he's saying here.
I think the issue is they're not whacking enough. There's this concept in private equity when you get a bankrupt company and you go in there, you cut 20% more than your initial read. And then you find like a pool of mercury, the organization gels back together again. Always cut deeper, harder when there's fat and waste. The FAA, it's not the people. The code is cobalt. It's from the 60s. It needs CapEx put into it for the technology to be upgraded to make it safer. Fat like a chicken. All of these agencies are like big fat chickens dripping over barbecues of fat. This is the best barbecue I've ever seen, but I don't think it's happening fast enough. They're not cutting enough. Keep slashing, keep hacking while you have a 24-month mandate before the midterms. Cut.
Yes.
More cutting. Believe me, it's going to work out just great. Everybody should be
people with
happy.
the nuclear codes, cut them too.
Cut everything. Because if you don't see what they're doing and they can't show you that they're adding value, you whack.
But it's clear.
You whack. I love that. Because that's what he would do in one of his businesses. That's what people do. That we don't just say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know where $4.7 trillion went with zero accountability. And the people who defend that suck. So
hard.
Keep cutting. Because the more they cut, the more we benefit.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Of course. And Michael Knowles, we have another clip of him talking about a clip that you will see of a USAID, someone who's, I guess, complaining about the fact that USAID faced so many cuts and openly admitting that his wife was about to get $1 million from USAID for the dumbest reason ever. Listen.
Explaining his connection to USAID.
Stopped. Doesn't matter. You have a contract. So, Turquoise Mountain, which my wife Shoshana runs, has a contract, had another $1 million to go. Money just stops.
Hold on. Wait, there's a contract between some organization and USAID, and the contract stopped. And hold on, his wife ran that organization, and they were supposed to get another $1 million from the U.S. government, and that just stopped? What organization does his wife run? It's called the Turquoise Mountain Foundation. You can't make this up. The Turquoise Mountain Foundation exists to teach Afghani peasants about degenerate modern art.
So this is in some ways often called the first piece of conceptual art.
این رکما می‌بینیم نمونه اینه بعضی مردم
اولین کار هنر مفکوره‌ای میگن.
Does anyone know what it is?
شما کسی میفهمه چی است؟
I don't expect the ladies to know.
کمود است. کمود.
Exactly. An artist called Marcel Duchamp, who's very important in Western art, put this toilet in an art gallery about 100 years ago.
That's where your money's going. Your money is going, or was going until Trump got hold of it, to pay off the wives of British politicians turned Yale professors to teach Afghanis who probably have more important things on their mind about how perverse Western anti-artists decided to pretend that urinals and toilets were, Caravaggio paintings in the early 20th century.
Yeah, it's crazy. And these are the same people. These are the same elitist scumbags who will preach to you about how you're stupid. Like they're probably BFFs with people like Tom Hanks, you know what I mean? Who will look at you, look at people who are MAGA, and they'll say, God, they're so uneducated. They're racist. They're this. They're just stupid. They're stupid people. They're uneducated. And she thinks she's smart because she's showing Afghans a crapper, a peer, a urinal. You know what I mean? It's like that's somehow, I cannot with these people.
That's our money. It's our money.
Yeah, it is, but they don't care. And
No,
yet,
they
and
don't.
again, the protesters are out there protesting them finding this.
Yeah.
It's you guys. I know that some of you probably have people in your family or friends like on social media that are doing the same thing. There's a part of me now that I'm like, if I see it, I just can't even, I can't deal. Like, I don't want to be a liberal, but if somebody is that stupid where they're defending this, you need to seek help. You've got to seek help for your stupidity.
And just think about what a lost opportunity when it comes to unifying the country. This should have been such a unifying issue that everybody can agree our money should not be wasted in this way. And the fact that there are still people fighting to have their money wasted just shows how batshit that side of the aisle is.
Yeah, they're batshit, and they're driven by hate. Yeah. Because they just cannot see past Orange Man bad. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. They can't see past it to see what's actually happening to them. It's happening to you too. You're being abused too. It's not just people on the right-hand side of the aisle. I mean, if you pay taxes, you're part of the victim status. We're the victims of all this, of this crime that they've basically put on us. Yeah. And so I just don't understand why they can't get it together. And it must be hate.
We should have been so unified over this. It's crazy that we're not.
I know.
We've got some crying to share. There's some crying coming up. There is a woman. So there's a liberal. Some lefties are just super scared because they believe the fear mongering. And so this woman in particular doesn't understand, for real, she's saying this out loud. She doesn't understand where Biden and Kamala are and why they're not rescuing her from what's happening. So,
you guys, no, she's not.
I promise this is a real person who is genuinely not understanding how government works at all. Oh my God. Here she is.
Am I the only one who feels abandoned by the Biden administration? Where are they? Why aren't they out there talking and telling us that they're doing anything they can to help protect us from what's coming, to help protect our democracy? Maybe they're working in the background and we just can't see it yet, but I am desperate for them to come out and say something that gives me even an ounce of hope, because I am so scared of where we're headed.
Yeah, you in danger, girl.
Where are you, Biden? Why are you guys doing something? Please step down and let Kamala be president for a minute. Maybe she can do something, but somebody's got to do something. You can't just hand the keys over to that monster and just feed us all to that lion.
What? Oh God, the batshittery is off the charts. And she thinks that somehow Biden is going to like save her. You know, like Biden's
on the beach and Kamala's at the Broadway play going like this, you guys.
I know.
She's like, they're not rescuing anybody.
They're behind the scenes working. Lady, they didn't work when they were supposed to be working. Okay. I assure you they're not working now. I promise you. Oh my God.
I know.
Crazy.
I know. One more crying person. And this is just like such a perfect example of how wussified liberal men have become. So this is, keep in mind, what you're about to see is a guy that's like gearing himself up to cry and be emotional on camera. So he set up a camera, okay, made sure it was positioned correctly, cried, talked about the crying, and then posted it.
So he's Selena Gomez did, is what he did. Okay.
Only it takes him it's clever because it takes him so long to get going that you're like curious, like what is about to happen here?
Right.
Check this out.
Oh my God.
It's building.
Okay, here it comes, you guys. Oh, is he?
I am scared, and that's okay.
Oh, for crying out loud. God.
I am scared, and that's okay.
Dude.
Oh my God.
Get help.
God. Dude.
I am scared, and that's okay.
Gosh. The theater kid in him is coming out. Acting. Project.
I'm scared, and that's okay.
Okay, well it's okay, you guys. It's okay.
It's okay.
That man has zero testicles. There's no testosterone flowing through his body. It's just all soy. All of it. It's soy.
Oh my God.
I cannot believe there are. Listen, I don't surround myself with dudes like that. So it's really, I think to myself, there's no way this can be real. And they exist. They walk amongst us.
Oh, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. It's a shame. It's a real shame, truly. And they all are afflicted, clearly, still with TDS and now TES. So, or EDS, right? Elon derangement syndrome. Yes.
Yeah, EDS.
Elon derangement syndrome. And probably that does stand for something else too, right? It's erectile dysfunction syndrome.
I think
Those
it is.
probably go hand in hand.
Definitely erectile dysfunction. Well, you need to have something to become erect in order for it to have dysfunction.
Right.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
That seems to be lacking. But that is clearly what is at issue here.
Yes.
And tonight, don't forget, is the Hannity interview with Elon Musk and Trump together for a sit down. And there's another teaser clip that's come out, and it's Elon talking about how crazy these people are. And the analogy that he uses is so great. You guys, he's so Elon. Check it out.
This whole sort of like, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. And I didn't, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And then I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies. Okay? And they're like, wow.
Oh my God.
Guys, like you can't have like a normal conversation. Yeah. And it's like it's like they become completely irrational.
Mm-hmm.
They are irrational. They are completely irrational. They can't see what's actually happening in real time.
Mm-hmm.
They can't because they're just so just blinded by hate and batshittery is really what it is. Yeah, they're irrational, which is why he changed, right? That's why he is on this side now. That's why he's doing what he does. I think part of his catalyst is because he lost a son to the woke machine.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But also in addition, he's just like, God, I'm definitely on the right side. There's so many of them. Look at all the people that have switched over, basically. RFK, Tulsi. I mean, so many. Because those people are irrational.
Yeah. I cannot wait to see this interview. I hope Sean just zips it and lets these guys talk. But it's tonight. And so I think it's 9. That's what time Sean Hannity is on, right?
Yeah, he's on. I think he's on it. He's at 9. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 9 your time, right?
Yeah,
8 my time, right?
Which obviously means I'll be watching it the following morning,
right?
Way past my bedtime.
We'll be watching this clip tomorrow. Yep.
All right, it is time for some My Pillow talks, and we've got some good ones. You know how some dogs, particularly huskies, they love to be out in like the terrible weather, and then there's all these dog owners who are constantly bitch at, you should bring your dog inside, and they won't because they love it.
Theo does it. Our Theo is the same because he's part Pyrenees, and you just see Pyrenees like around my area because we live near a bunch of ranches, and they're ranch dogs. It was pouring down rain the other night. I was driving my daughter home, and there was just a Pyrenees in the middle of the field, just sitting there with his head up. I'm like, dude, do you not have because they don't care. They just don't care.
Well, here's what can happen when a dog like that stays outside in the rain.
Kissing. Kissing up.
It's so cute. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. That's
he
adorable.
left the whole ass print of himself.
Awesome. I love it. They really don't care about weather, you know?
They do not. Now, I don't know where this is, but somebody has a pool with a pool cover that has been infiltrated by a random horse.
No, that's not a Hi. Oh my gosh. I'm actually concerned for the horse.
I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's fine. They would never post it if the horse wasn't fine. That's how I look at it.
I got to tell you, we have a pool, and if we didn't have a fence around our pool, our cows would be in it, you guys, every day.
Maybe they would like it. They would like it.
They would. Yeah, they would. There would be 3 steers in there swimming and crapping. We can't have that.
But can you give them like at the end of the season, like when you know it's going to get cold, can you give them like a pool day?
I don't think it works that way, Muck. You don't just give cows pool days. It's not like a spa. You know what I mean?
But they do it at parks for the dogs. Like they do it at swim parks for dogs. They'll just like when it's about to close for the season, they let all the dogs come and swim. You should let your cows swim.
She thinks that the cows should swim. You guys, I'll have to see. You have to weigh in. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
And then you refill it. I mean, it probably needs to be refilled every now and then anyway.
Well, you don't drain the whole thing and refill it, which is probably what we would have to do if we had cows in it, you know?
I mean, fair, but like...
Can you build a pond? We could.
So fun.
We could build a pond. We could do that. Yeah. We could maybe do that. I'll think about I'll tell you what, I'll get one of those little baby pools from Walmart and just stick it in the pasture and see what they do with it.
They will love that. Oh my gosh. They would love
what
that.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a couple of kiddos in one of those places. It's got to be Europe, or because this is where they have like those giant squares in various cities, and that pigeons come and they become so used to people that they just land around people, right? And people feed them. I have a picture of my parents. I think it's in Italy from years and years ago, where they've got like pigeons on their shoulders.
Oh my
and,
gosh!
Yeah, it's a great photo.
Yeah.
So a couple of kiddos, one in particular, she felt very, very comfortable with the pigeons.
The dad's like, I'll go ahead and take that.
She's just like, I'm just going to pick them all up.
I love this kid. I love her. I love it. Our second born. It's always the second born. Always.
Oh my God.
It's always the youngest, you guys. Picking stuff up, you know, things that they shouldn't. It's always the youngest.
All right, this next one, I know I've played this before. Maybe it was part of a montage or something, but it showed up on my feed again yesterday, and I was like, well, clearly I'm meant to play it again. Because every time I see this cat wearing clothes and not liking it, I just crack up.
Please. Oh my God. You don't like your Christmas jammies, molasses?
Oh my God. I love him.
I know, right? I mean, he just does not
stupid shirt on me.
Stand when I have pajamas on.
Right.
Okay, this is like a real life bear encounter, which is absolutely terrifying. Like I would die, but I would also wonder if I could pet.
You'd be like, can I pet and not die? Maybe.
But to be like snuck up on unexpectedly, this is unbelievable. And this guy did the exact right thing.
No, 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 no.
You got to scare the bear, man.
No, 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 no.
Where is this?
No.
I don't know.
Where do people have bears in their driveway? I just need to know where.
Well,
where
he
that
clearly
so I
is
can-
in a very wooded area. You know what I mean? Like it's probably.
It looks like a subdivision, though.
It could be Tennessee. It could be California. And there was another bear. Like there were multiple bears.
They're looking for.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's got to be Tennessee, right? It's got to be Tennessee
Or California. I know this happens in California too. So
yeah, that guy was plugging his car in, so it tracks more with California.
So Becky just said, "Can I pet that dog?
Can I pet it?" Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, is right. Last one, and it is a goat montage. There's just so many funny little cute goats. Check it out.
Oh my gosh.
Ow. That was a hard one, dude.
It's coming. Oh, I thought
Oh,
that's actually really cute.
Ready?
I love them.
oh,
Oh, he's stinky.
Hello, hello.
God, they're cute.
conk.
Oh my gosh.
They're such funny little
They're
creatures.
really cute. Very, very cute.
All right, just a few thank yous from Venmo today. Jenna Myers says, I was working on right versus left with my 4-year-old, and she said, oh, like jerks on the right. I was equally horrified and proud.
I love it. We are proud.
Also, my Roomba's name is Dustin Bieber.
I love it. That is fantastic.
So great. And over on Locals, Roth Lady Wright says, I spent all day in the ER yesterday, and I'm telling you, it's totally because of stress from the sticker shock of all the colleges begging my son to come study with them, even with scholarships. And my daughter's volleyball team coming for their $7,000 a year. And these effing people are upset about the government going through an audit.
Right.
Liberals will not be happy until we are all eating ramen noodles, drinking Kool-Aid with rainwater. I cannot with these pansies with no clear brain.
They want to be controlled and they want us to own nothing. That's what they want. They're
Exactly
insane,
right.
these people. Is it me? Are we done?
Yep, it's you.
Okay. Robin Solomon Die. YouTube took your showdown yesterday. NBC issue. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a copyright
SNL.
thing for SNL. They didn't want us
SNL.
sharing SNL clips, so they were like, but it's back up. I mean, it's there. So we had to
Look
trim it
okay.
out, but it's there.
Yeah. Carrie Hoffman. Amy Klobuchar speaking at my farm meeting this morning. Ugh. You should go see her.
You
totally
should.
go
She's
see
real
her.
trembly.
She's like Chihuahua-y. Yeah. She's like a shaky Chihuahua.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. We're bringing it in. It's going to be a good Tuesday. It's getting cold in a lot of places here in the United States.
Yeah, it's going to be like a high of 49 here later this week. What the hell?
That's true. We're going to be in the 30s like tomorrow and Thursday. I don't like that. And then it'll be normal again this weekend. But everybody stay warm and we will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.